A lot of people say they want to read more, but the hardest part is figuring out where to start. There are so many great books out there, and sometimes the books we pick up feel slow, complicated, or just hard to get into. And after a few attempts, a lot of people give up on reading altogether. So I'm starting this series to introduce books in a way that makes them easier to approach. We'll talk a little bit about the book, why it's worth reading, and then we'll read the opening pages together so you can experience the writing for yourself. Today we're starting with a relatively short novel, Giovanni's Room, by my favorite author, James Baldwin. James Baldwin is one of the most important writers of the 20th century. He's extremely well known for his essays and novels that explore race, identity, and love. Giovanni's Room was published in 1956, and instead of writing directly about race, he wrote a deeply personal novel set in Paris about identity, loneliness, and the complicated ways people struggle to understand themselves. Giovanni's Room is considered one of the most important novels of its time. The story follows David, an American living in Paris, while trying to figure out his life and relationship. He becomes involved with a man named Giovanni, and the novel explores the emotional and psychological tension that develops as David struggles with his identity and the expectations he feels from the world around him. One of the reasons this book works so well for people trying to get into reading is that Baldwin's writing is incredibly vivid and reflective. Even though the story is relatively short, the emotions and ideas it explores are so relatable. So let's start at the beginning and read the opening pages together. This is the opening of Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. I stand at the window of this great house in the south of France as night falls, the night which is leading me to the most terrible morning of my life. I have a drink in my hand, there's a bottle at my elbow. I watch my reflection in the darkening gleam of the window pane. My reflection is tall, perhaps rather like an arrow. My blonde hair gleams, my face is like a face you have seen many times. My ancestors conquered a continent, pushing across death-laden plains until they came to an ocean which faced away from Europe into a darker past. I may be drunk by morning, but that will not do any good. I shall take the train to Paris anyway. The train will be the same. The people struggling for comfort and even dignity on the straight-backed wooden third-class seats will be the same, and I will be the same. We will ride through the same changing countryside northward, leaving behind the olive trees and the sea and all of the glory of the stormy southern sky into the mist and rain of Paris. Someone will offer to share a sandwich with me. Someone will offer me a sip of wine. Someone will ask me for a match. People will be roaming the corridors outside, looking out of windows, looking in at us. At each stop, recruits in their baggy brown uniforms and colored hats will open the compartment door to ask, "Come play." We will all nod yes, like conspirators, smiling faintly at each other as they continue through the train. 2 or 3 of them will end up before a compartment door, shouting at each other in their heavy, ribald voices. Smoking their dreadful army cigarettes, there will be a girl sitting opposite me who will wonder why I have not been flirting with her, who will be set on edge by the presence of the recruits. It will all be the same, only I will be stiller. And the countryside is still tonight, this countryside reflected through my image in the pane. This house is just outside a small summer resort, which is still empty. The season has not yet begun. It is on a small hill. One can look down on the lights of the town and hear the thud of the sea. My girl, Heya, and I rented it in Paris from photographs some months ago. Now she has been gone a week. She is on the high seas now, on her way back to America. I can see her, very elegant, tense, and glittering, surrounded by the lights which fill the salon of the ocean liner, drinking rather too fast and laughing and watching the men. That was how I met her in a bar in Saint-Germain-des-Prés. She was drinking and watching, and that was why I liked her. I thought she would be fun to have fun with. That was how it began. That was all it meant to me. I am not sure now, in spite of everything, that it ever really meant more than that to me. And I don't think it ever really meant more than that to her. At least not until she made that trip to Spain. And finding herself there, alone, began to wonder, perhaps, if a lifetime of drinking and watching the men was exactly what she wanted. But it was too late by that time. I was already with Giovanni. I had asked her to marry me before she went away to Spain. And she laughed and I laughed, but that somehow, all the same, made it more serious for me. And then she said she would have to go away and think about it. And the very last night she was here, the very last time I saw her, as she was packing her bag, I told her that I had loved her once, and I made myself believe it. But I wonder if I had. I was thinking, no doubt, of our nights in bed, of the peculiar innocence and confidence which will never come again, which had made those nights so delightful, so unrelated to past, present, or anything to come, so unrelated, finally, to my life, since it was not necessary for me to take any but the most mechanical responsibility for them. And these nights were being acted out under a foreign sky, with no one to watch, no penalties attached. It was this last fact which was our undoing, for nothing is more unbearable, once one has it, than freedom. I suppose this was why I asked her to marry me, to give myself something to be moored to. Perhaps this was why, in Spain, she decided that she wanted to marry me. But people can't, unhappily, invent their mooring posts, their lovers and their friends, any more than they can invent their parents. Life gives these and also takes them away, and the great difficulty is to say yes to life. I was thinking, when I told Heya that I had loved her, of those days before anything awful, irrevocable had happened to me, when an affair was nothing more than an affair. Now, from this night, this coming morning, no matter how many beds I find myself in between now and my final bed, I shall never be able to have any more of those boyish, zestful affairs, which are, really, when one thinks of it, a kind of higher, or, anyway, more pretentious masturbation. People are too various to be treated so lightly. I am too various to be trusted. If this were not so, I would not be alone in this house tonight. Heya would not be on the high seas, and Giovanni would not be about to perish, sometime between this night and this morning, on the guillotine. If you're someone who's trying to get into reading, or if you're curious about classic literature but don't know where to begin, Giovanni's Room is a great place to start. It's short, beautifully written, and it explores emotions and questions that are incredibly relevant today. If you enjoyed reading the opening pages with me, let me know in the comments, and if you're trying to build a reading habit, tell me what kind of books you're interested in. Fantasy, historical fiction, memoirs, because I'll be working to introduce more books and genres into this series. And if you'd like to see more videos where we explore books together from the very first page, make sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.